Members, good afternoon. It is about time to make a start. We have attained the quorum and now call the meeting to order. Item number 1, confirmation of minutes of meeting. Minutes of the 5th meeting held on November 11th, 2016, paper CB2 191/16 to 17. We have received no proposed amendments. Can I take the minutes as confirmed? All right. Item 2, matters arising. Report on meeting with the CS. There is nothing in particular to report to members. B, membership of the subcommittee to prepare for the operation of the select committee on the petition presented at the council meeting on November the 2nd, 2016. At the last meeting, members agreed that the size of the membership should be 11. At the end of the deadline, we had 13, and the membership list has been made available as the number has exceeded the quota, and members might wish to consider how best we should deal with it. Should we have I'll put it to the vote to decide who should be sitting on the committee. Mr. Dennis Kwok, Madam Chair. I think for those who sign up for this preparatory committee must be very anxious to join, and they would to get something done. And I'm sure that these members would like to sit on the select committee. Now we don't have that many members above the quota. I don't think we should screen out some of the members. I would suggest that we increase the size of the membership from 11 to 13. That would not make any major difference to the operation of the committee. I suggest 13. All right. Vice Chair suggests that the number be fixed at 13. I remember last time there was a suggestion of 11. Mr. Hon Chow. Madam Chair, since we had 11 in the past, we should stick with the number. As regards election or voting, that was the usual practice, and that has been serving us well. I think we should stick with this arrangement. Thank you. All right, there are 2 different comments. Any further comments? Mr. Hon Leung. All right. I follow the order in which members press the button. 1 minute. This is not a complicated issue. Mr. Young, I'm not going to be verbose. This is a preparatory committee. I think the preparatory committee can decide on the size of the actual select committee. We should leave it to the preparatory committee. Mr. Hon Chow said this practice has been serving us well. I think this issue has profound implications, and many members are interested. I think we should leave it to the preparatory committee to decide whether there should be any flexibility. Dr. Loy Kwok. Madam Chair, I was part of some other preparatory committees before. Mr. Martinell was chairman of one of the former select committees, and if we have too big a membership, it would be hard to handle. So it was suggested that the number of members on the preparatory committee be fixed at 11. And my experience is that the preparatory committee is likely to transition into the select committee. Now, we didn't hear an objection to the number of 11 last time, and I think that the preparatory committee should have a membership size of 11, and that would facilitate future operation. Mr. Jeremy Tam, Madam Chair. Now, it is a toss between 11 and 13. Should we dig our heels in here I think the distribution seems to be fair enough. If we have to slash the number, some will be left unhappy. 13 or 11, we're going to have an odd number. Now, you said previously we had 13. I mean, did you have a situation where with 13 members the meeting couldn't function properly? Now, if you're talking about 20 odd, then there would be really a massive number, but 13 for this committee would be just about right. Now, even for the Select Committee, I don't think the difference of 2 will make that much of a difference. I think it's a recent number, 13. Dr. Hon LEUNG, Madam Chair. This is Legislative Council. We have different blocks of members. If 13 members are interested, I think we should be a little bit more flexible and keep the number of 13. If members insist on 11, then I don't think we should have a predominance of one particular block. There are 7 pro-establishment members and 6 non-establishment. I think if we slash the number, we should slash proportionally, one less from each camp. But if you have a predominance 7-4-8-3, then it would be a little bit lopsided. Mr. Horace Chung, Madam Chair, I remember last time at the House Committee meeting we decided on the number of 11 in the light of experience, and also the Preparatory Committee is making preparation for the Select Committee, and if the number is too large, it may not be conducive to the functioning of the meeting. We have decided on the number, and today we haven't heard any specific reason why we have to make a change. If we have different views, I think we should go the democratic way and put it to the vote. Mr. Stephen Ho, Madam Chair, I heard from members that we should not go back on this. I remember last time, I remember vividly that we talked about 11. You said today we can have 13. And what was the point of having the meeting last time? That's a matter of principle. Dr. Hon LEUNG is trying to talk in terms of different blocks. I don't think members would be dominating the meeting. I think we have to stick with 11. Mr. Lam Cheuk Ting, Madam Chair, this is only a preparatory committee. At the end of the day, members are free to sign up for the Select Committee. The membership list is not cast in concrete. If members are interested, can't we have a little bit of flexibility? We're not talking about the big number of 31. It's only a 13. Will that affect the functioning of the committee? I doubt it. Mr. Edward Lau, Madam Chair, I think the key thing is that we came to a consensus last time, and there was something that we subscribed to last time. So I would suggest that we keep the number. Just because we have 13 members here doesn't mean that we should expand the size to 13. What about in the future we have 15 or 17? Just a little bit more. Should we expand the size indefinitely? I think we have to keep to the consensus. Mr. Wong Ting Kwong. Right. Members, please do not be repetitive. Let's work out how we can get these resolved. Mr. Wong Ting Kwong, like Dr. Hon LEUNG said, this is a Legislative Council. I don't think we should go back on our words. If we renege on our words and start all over again, then this is not good enough. This is not child play. We have to stick with what we decided on. Now, if you talk about interest, I'm also interested, but I didn't sign up. If I am interested enough to sign up now, would you take me? I doubt why some members are talking about the political blocks. I don't know how you work out the blocks. She said 80, 30. I mean, even with the different blocks, you can't have 80, 30. I don't know how you work out the proportion. Can it be 11-0? Mr. Charles Mock. Well, Madam Chair, I think the members should have a look at the minutes. When we haven't quite decided on the number, it was said that this would be referred to the preparatory committee to decide, and we didn't have an objection to this being referred to the preparatory committee to decide. And Mr. Holden Charles said this practice has been serving us well. Previously, it was 13. I mean, I think we should stick with 13. I can't think of any particular example that suggested 13 would make it difficult to function. Perhaps Martin can tell us why 13 would make it difficult to function efficiently. Now, you haven't read the minutes, and you're telling us that we have decided on the magic number of 11, and you're trying to be so high-handed and try to set a precedent that there's going to be 11 going forward. So, Madam Chair, I don't think we should allow the members to change the way we work and try to narrow the field. Your time is up, Mr. Wuchiwai. Madam Chair, clearly this is a preparatory committee. Last time, in the light of the Select Committee on XRL, we did have 13 on the committee. That this is a preparatory committee. We may mention the number of 11 last time. Para 29 of the minutes, please refer to the minutes. There is a mention of that. There was a decision made, Madam Chair. This is only a preparatory committee to pave the way for the Select Committee to work out the details and the terms of reference and so on. I think we should make it simple. Now, there are 13 members. We can allow them to sit on the preparatory committee, and then we can work on this basis and see whether there is anything new from the preparatory committee. All right. Please refer to parent 29 of the minutes. Let me read it out for members. The chairman concluded that no member had raised objection to the appointment of the proposed preparatory subcommittee or to Mr. Martin Leung's suggestion that the membership size of the proposed preparatory subcommittee be capped at 11. She suggested that she and the deputy chairman would consult members of different political groupings on the overall composition of the proposed preparatory subcommittee. Now, we have tried this together with the vice chairman, but we failed to reach any consensus. But that paragraph clearly portrayed what happened at last meeting. Mr. Ma Fong Kwok, well, I don't think we should give rise to any complications. We have to stick with what we decided on. Mr. Leung Kwok Hong. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is my floor. There are 13 members. One of them is Leung Kwok Hong, and you want some heads to roll. What about the oath of office? I've taken 4 oaths of office. I mean, it's just like I'm career down the road at 200 miles per hour. If you want to take my head, say so. What's the guy's name? Ma something. Well, that person got the pronunciation wrong. The Chinese proverb. If you want to take my head, you don't need to ask Mr. Eric Ma to come and get it.
Mr. Paul Chair, for such investigation committees. We have seen the example of the XLL. Such committees, for example, the Public Accounts Committee, the workable size should not be too large because we have to read a lot of papers and we have to do a lot of examinations and summaries. If we have too many members, then it would affect the work of the committee. So we should learn from the successful case of the PAC. Even with 7 members, we can do the job. 11 is already the maximum. We have tried 13, but as Mr. Martin Liao suggested, there were issues with attendance, questions, and the final summary. So we should not resort to political motives. We should work together to achieve something. Ms. Tanya Chen. First of all, in the minutes, you cannot assume that without comments, we cannot assume that everything is passed. Luckily, you read it out. Otherwise, people would thought that we have agreed at the number of 11. If members are elected and capable, what's wrong with having 13? Why are you so skeptical? Can we not achieve anything with 13 members? We can see that from the XLL case. Even with 13 members, we can achieve something. I have maintained communication with the deputy chairman all along, and we have tried to come up with a solution. Originally, we had 14 members, but this morning, Mr. Jimmy Ng quit, and as such, the current membership is 13. If any members change their minds, they can inform our clerk, Mr. Chen Kim-po. For the pro-establishment camp and pan-democrats or the opposition, if you want to change the number of 11 to 13, then we should have extra pro-establishment members. If we are to change the number, we have to plan it again. If you want to introduce more members on your side, we would do the same on ours. Mr. Wong Kwok-kin, I agree with Chen Kim-po. When we signed up, we did so based on the membership of 11. A lot more members were interested. Originally, 5 members from the FTU wanted to join. So you have to open up the registration again. Otherwise, we should vote today. So we have different views. So let's vote on the arrangement. First of all, the size of the membership. Last time, no members objected to the membership size of 11. Myself and the vice chairman tried to come up with an answer, but such move failed. If you vote yes, we would keep the membership at 11. Mr. James Doe. Some people might not agree. I suggest that the issue to be voted on is whether the membership size should be 11 rather than to retain the membership size at 11. The subcommittee to prepare for the operation would be retained at 11. The word retention carries some meaning because at the last meeting we talked about 11. Mr. Paul Chair. Chairman, there were no objections on the membership size. The only consideration was the actual members. So it wasn't. This isn't a new decision. It was agreed last time. According to paragraph 29 of the minutes, there were no objections. Of course, through negotiation, we hope that all members can agree on the membership size of 11. And I admit that the negotiation failed. That's why we are coming back to it today. Do we agree with the membership size of 11 for the subcommittee to prepare for the operation of the select committee? After we decide on the membership size of 11, do we have to decide on the membership ratio as well, since you failed to come to a conclusion with the vice chairman? Well, some members from the pro-establishment camp made their intentions very clear. They don't want to investigate CY Leung. They don't agree with using PNP as well as our petition. And if you increase the membership size to 13, they would introduce more members. So in other words, none of their members would quit. So they have already dictated the ratio at 7-4. Mr. Wong Ting Kwong. Right now, are we investigating CY Leung or Rebecca Lee? I'm confused. No matter who we are investigating, this is the same logic. Members who are against the investigation cannot dominate the whole committee. I have no idea who we are investigating now. Who are you talking about? First of all, Dr. Wang's point is not a point of order. I hope you can be stricter. You cannot speculate on other people's minds. Aren't you making speculations? How do you know what we are thinking? Now, the first item to be voted on. For the subcommittee to prepare for the operation of the select committee, the membership size is 11. If you agree, if you press yes, that means you agree. Let's proceed to the vote. Any division claimed? The Vice Chairman, the division bell would be rung for 5 minutes.
I'd like
to remind members that the item being voted on for the subcommittee to prepare for the operation of the Select Committee on the petition presented at the Council meeting on the 2nd of November. The membership size is 11.
現在開始表決，議員
The voting begins. Members, please press the white button to indicate attendance before casting your vote.
為處理2016年11月2號立法會
This is to deal with the subcommittee to prepare for the operation of the Select Committee on the petition presented at the Council meeting of the 2nd of November. This is to decide on the membership size. If the voting is completed, the voting is now closed. The results are displayed. "34 votes for, 25 votes against, 0 abstention. The proposal is passed. I suggest members to use the electronic voting system to elect members of the subcommittee. And as for the formats of the voting, you can refer to similar arrangements under the House Committee. After the meeting, the Secretariat, the clerk will upload the results to the LegCo website. Let's enter the voting. Members, please note that if after the first round of voting, the number of votes received by 2 or more members are equal, the electronic voting system will be used again for another round of voting. After another round of voting, if some members still receive equal votes such that no winner can be decided, I will draw lots to decide which member can become a member of the subcommittee. Before the deadline, the latest number of members is 13. The list is now displayed. and the list has been tabled as well. In the tablet in front of you, you would have a list of candidates. You can click on the names of the candidates you prefer, and you can vote for a maximum of 11 candidates. The chosen candidates' names would turn green together with the tick. If you want to cancel selected candidates, please click on the name of that candidate again. Please note that each member can only vote for a maximum of 11 candidates. If you have chosen 11 candidates, if you try to choose, click on the name of another candidate, the system would issue a reminder informing you that you have reached the maximum number of candidates.
Are you done with your voting? Do you need more time? Please vote no more than 11. Do you need more time for your vote? Please. Otherwise, I'll bring this to a close. Mr. Ma, you need more time? All right, please check your votes. And the color will turn green with a tick against the names. If there are no questions, our voting now ends. Will the clerk please show the results and read out the number of votes for each candidate? For Chair 36. The mic is not on. Sorry. Secretary, please. Priscilla Leung, 35. Wong Kwok Kin, 36. Paul Chair, 36. Leung Kwok Hong, 25. Claudine Mo, 25. Ma Fong Kwok, 36. Kenneth LEUNG, 58. Alvin Young, 58. Andrew Wan, 57. Junius Ho, 35, Lam Chuk Ting 57, Holden Chow 36, Eunice Young 36. The 11 members with the highest number of votes will become members of the preparatory committee. Priscilla Leung, Wong Kwok Kin, Paul Che, Ma Fong Kwok, Kenneth LEUNG, Alvin Young, Andrew Wen, Junius Ho, Lam Chuk Ting, Holden Chow, and Eunice Young. Let's move on to the next item. Item 3. Further business for the Council meeting of November 23rd, 2016, tabling of papers. Report number 4/16 to 17 of the Health Committee on consideration of the subsidiary legislation and other instruments. Paper number CB2 19.3/16 to 17 issued vide LC paper and number CB3 130/16 to 17 dated November the 16th. And this is the subsidiary legislation and other instrument. The amendment will expire on November 23rd. B. Members' motions. Proposed resolution under Section 34(4) of the Interpretation in General Clauses Ordinance in relation to Inland Revenue Ordinance, amendment of Schedule 17E, Notice 2016, to be moved by Mr. Kenneth LEUNG. This is to extend the deadline. Number 4, business for Council meeting of November 30th. There are 22 questions, 6 oral and 16 written. B. Bill, first and second reading. Fire Services Amendment Bill 2016. We'll deal with these at the meeting on the 12th of December. bill, resumption of debate and second reading supplementary appropriation 2015-16 bill. Members did not have an objection to these being given second reading. No government motion. Members' motion. Mr. Hon Chow will move a motion on bogus refugees. There will be two non-binding motions. The first one was carried forward from the previous meeting by Mr. Christopher Leung on formulating a comprehensive listing policy. The next one is Mr. Hon Chow's motion for amendment. The deadline for notification is 23rd of November. List of subsidiary legislation. The period for amendment will expire on the 30th of November. The list has been tabled before members. Just a reminder that if you want to speak, please notify the Secretariat before 5 on the 22nd of November. Ms. Tanya Chen. Beg your pardon, Madam Chair. I heard that Mr. Christopher Leung's motion has been carried forward, and we're going to have Mr. Hon Chow's motion as well. Are we going to be back to normal? Will we take our turn to have our motion taken at the council meetings? Yes, indeed. All right. Item 5, position of BCs and SCs. CB 192, 16 to 17. As of 17th of November, Thursday, there are 11 SCs under the House, 4 to deal with subsidiary legislation, 5 to deal with policies, and 2 to deal with other matters. And there are 5 subcommittees under the panels that are currently in action. There are 5 on the waiting list for activation. AOB, we don't have any AOB items. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming.